Cam, what do we have to do to recruit better at offensive line? Yes, we do get certain guys, but it's even more that do not play.
And I mean, the even more who don't play, he means like a Barmillo who came from Brad Kai's high school, who's a 4-star who never played. You have a Kai Leon Herbert, who was a 4-star, All-American kid, heavily recruited by Florida and other SEC schools. He's here and hasn't played a meaningful snap, things like that. Honestly, I think it's evaluation for one, and I think it's like overall paradigm, evaluation, and scheme at the college level, at like on the Miami level. So I'll break those down. The paradigm is a thing where you have to really have an idea of what you're trying to do on the offensive line. And it can't just be for 1 year. It has to be like system-wide. You know what I mean? So, for example, take Wisconsin. They have a very clear sense of self. They know what they're going to do on offensive line. They're going to get some 3-stars, maybe a couple 4-stars, maybe an All-American from Wisconsin who's just a gigantic player. That one guy might play as a true freshman. Like the rare guys play as true freshmen there. Otherwise, they're going to come in. It doesn't matter who you are. You're going to get in our scheme, get in our system, get in our weight room, and you're going to work. Then you might hit the rotation as a redshirt freshman and work your way up from there, depending on your level of athleticism and talent. That is ever present. That has not changed in 25 years. The way that they do things, their scheme on how to build and grow offensive line. So now you go from that to the evaluation point. So now if you have a clear sense of self, a clear set scheme for what you're trying to do organizationally on offensive line, now you're trying to find guys to fit that. Hopefully, you have a little bit of buffer on the roster, because if you're trying to, this is where Miami has struggled, because you have to swing for the fences with an Alex Leatherwood or an Evan Neal or guys like that, because you need guys to come in and play day one, because you don't have any buffer at the top level of the roster. At a place like Wisconsin, in my example, if you don't get those guys, that's okay, because we're not banking on those guys to make our scheme work, our system of growing offensive linemen work. That's a bonus. You know what I mean? So now, okay, you're evaluating to fit what you do and how you do it. If there's a guy who needs a year or two in the weight room, that's okay. This is what Miami did back in the day with guys like a Danny Isadora coming out of Cypress Bay. And I said then when he signed, he's not a guy who's going to play until year 3, and that's okay. He ended up leaving as a second-team All-ACC player because it took a couple mango seasons before he was ready to play, hit the rotation as a redshirt sophomore, really started as a redshirt junior, and then by the time he's a redshirt senior, he was the anchor of the line, and he's a second-team All-ACC player. But your evaluation needs to fit into the paradigm and also the needs of the roster. So now we need to evaluate a little bit differently once we've set our organizational scheme. And then the scheme that we employ on the field needs to take advantage of these players and not leave them out to dry. Everybody knows that we did not have the kind of offensive line that could run a pro-style scheme. And last year especially, you're starting a true freshman at left tackle who came into Miami 5.5 months ago from when he hit the field. Or, sorry, he came in January. Did he? Yeah, Zion Nelson came in January. So 7.5 months before he hit the field as a Miami Hurricane, this guy was 6'5", 240. And now he's starting at left tackle. But you're going to leave him on an island against a John Greenard and the Zuniga? Fam, that's why we gave up 10 sacks. You can't. No. So you're not using these players in an effective way. I don't necessarily think that you're evaluating players appropriately, and you don't have a cohesive organizational structure or mindset for how you're using offensive line. When you have that 3-level coordinated approach, then I think that you'll be able to see improvement on the offensive line. So hopefully the whole paradigm, again, organizationally, evaluation-wise, and usage, I want to see all 3 of those things improve. Now, have we made strides toward that? Garen Justice is a great offensive line coach and a good evaluator and recruiter. So hopefully, yes, Red Lashley is going to run a different kind of offense where he's going to ask your offensive line to do different things, not necessarily man-to-man block and say, hey, you got this beast across from you. And look, there's good players on other teams too. They have scholarship players everywhere. So you're not going to say, hey, true freshman, good luck against a guy who's going to be a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick. I'm going to put you on an island and hopefully you make it. What? We're not going to necessarily do that. So there's that. Now, the organizational piece of it, I'm not sure of. I don't know. I don't have the connection. Maybe I'll try to see if I can find one to find out about that. But I think on all 3 of those levels, that changing the mindset, mentality, and organizational schemes on all those levels, if you change those things, then I think that the recruiting and performance on the offensive line can change. And you should clip that, because that was a fantastic answer. I'm patting myself on the back for that one.